Lord. All right, we're recording. Okay, so I know that, let's see, Tammy's 4. Whoop, whoop. And we got Rosemary is 1. We've got Angie Strickland is 2 away. All right, I'm pulling up the chat. 4 away for Katie, 1 away for Laura, 4 away for Kelly. Oh my God, this is so
Y'all are so close. Elaine is 4 away.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so everybody that is here, before we really wanted to dive into some help with social media and talking about just the coaching opportunity in general. I feel like I'm going to mute some lines that are popping in. But before we get started, for those of you all that are, or everybody in this training, have you identified who your emeralds are? Yes? Okay, cool. All right. That's important to know who your emeralds are. Okay. I want everybody in the chat to say where you are in Success Club.
Ooh.
6, 4, 7, 10. Awesome. 10, 5, 6, 0. 15 for Rosemary. Awesome. 2 with card out. 0. Okay. Okay. So for those of you all, correct me leaders when I say this, but for those of you all in Success Club, every cart needs to be going to the emeralds. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Does anybody have any questions around that? Does anybody need help, advice with that? Does everybody get why we do that? How do we do that? It's a question. So for when I send a share cart out that I need for my husband's account, I log into Brown's account and send the share cart from his account as a coach share cart. That's how you do that. Any other questions? There's no dumb questions with this. This is really important, guys. Next question. Who do you have for your second? For me? For my second emerald?
Well, like I have my husband as my 1 and then.
Okay, so husband's on what leg?
Right.
Okay, so you need to look at every coach on your left leg and decide who your emerald's going to be, or have +2. That could be parent or child over 18, or a friend that is in your challenge group. You know, for me, for the way that Jolie did it was Brown, best friend. Best friend was getting results. Best friend was in the challenge group. Best friend was in another MLM, and best friend wanted to support me, and best friend was invested in her own journey and was all in the challenge group. And best friend had mutual friends, and that's how Jolie forced the diamond to happen. And then since then, this is a temporary, like, pushing yourself over the fence. And then it gives the wind in your sails, the confidence of the training, all this stuff that gets you to, like, Jess is what are you, 7,000 star right now? I'm kidding. But you know what I mean? It's temporary. This is not like get it there and then stop. I always compare people are when you grow a diamond and then you stop. It's like, and then you're like holding plates on a wall and an earthquake's coming. You know what I mean? Like you're like, ah! So you just keep on continuing to build. And that's why it's just so important, guys, to get yourself to Success Club ASAP so you can then go. And then like Laura Thomas, who's just popped diamond a few weeks ago, she's at 10, Success Club 10. She is a working coach. And then now she knows anybody else needs to go to her other control business center to give it some padding for that emerald, you know? So she has breathing room with it. So she's continuing to grow and build, not grow and stop and wait for chips to fall, you know? Does that make sense?
I think the other thing that, just to add on to that, because I agree, like mine was very similar, but I think there's this myth that we think like the question that we get all the time is like, where do you find these business builders? Like, where do you find these like people who want to come in and especially that this is a wellness company, people go, oh, I need to like look for fitness people or nutrition people or whatever, whoever. And the people in your challenge group, when you're looking at that left leg or whichever leg you have to fill, you want the chatty people. You want the people that like want to talk to the PTA, that want like have the neighborhood barbecues. Like it has nothing to do with health and wellness. It has everything to do with how much they run their mouth, because they will find you people.
Spot on. Like, who are your people that are invested in the challenge group? And then also perhaps are social on social media and just social in general, you know? Those are the people that it's just going to be like organically like, you should totally do this. You should totally do this. You should totally do this, you know? And honestly, guys, 5 of my stars all came from my challenge group. And it just came from a little bit of a boost of encouragement that way, you know? All right, so last week I did a post where we talked about the coaching opportunity and encourage y'all to do a screenshot of the coaching opportunity. And first of all, I just want to say bravo. I mean, I was going back in my social media from when I started in August of 2016, and it was very sparse that I talked about the coaching opportunity. And I pulled up my very first coach post for y'all to see. And then Lauren wants to pop in and talk about storytelling and how to do that in an effective way to relate to the reader and catch the reader in a fast-paced social media environment. And then I wanted to wrap back, and I had one of the posts. It was Sarah. Is she on this call? You guys saw that?
Why don't you let down? Because I'm listening to somebody else.
I don't know who that is. I think I see it. I have screenshotted Sarah's post, and I wanted to use it as an example of a way that we could tweak the content that was there. Sound like a good game plan? All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Y'all want to see my very first coach post? Yeah, okay.
I do. I'm so excited.
It's going to blow your mind. Do you see it? Do you see it? October 12th, 2016. No picture. So it appears that my silly little side business is not only helping people improve people's health, but it's also allowed me to pay off my car. Hashtag debt free is nice. Hashtag changing lives. Hashtag mompreneur. Hashtag job love. 117 likes, 37 comments, 1 share. No picture. Okay. Granted, this is a different social media world than it was then, but I'm also going to tell you when that post went up, I'm going to stop sharing my screen because it drives me crazy that I can't see y'all. I did not have social media savvy. I had 700 friends on Facebook. So whatever the percentage of people of my warm market were engaged with that. And to me, I think the engagement was so high because it was relatable. Does that seem relatable? And it was also quick. Okay. All right. So let me go. Y'all had to dig for my next one. And I don't know if these are in order, but here's another one. In case you're wondering, when you throw away a retainer, it costs a lot of money to replace it. A lot. This used to set me back in a tailspin of lack, a rabbit hole of stress because of the holiday spending on top of this. Did it sting running my credit card today for it? So much less than it used to. She feels guilty enough for her mistake. She shouldn't have to suffer from the insecurity of lack. So yes, I drink a superfood every day, eat clean, exercise daily, and coach others to do the same. But this afternoon, when I had to buy my daughter a new retainer, I paid for it back by 15 months of confidence this health and coaching job has given me. Join my team. of other mamas that are doing the same for themselves and their families, PM me. Okay. Stop share. Anybody relate to that? So when I was reading the post, I read them out loud. I read your guys' post out loud. And then y'all heard me read my post out loud. I encourage y'all to read your post out loud. I encourage y'all to read your post as if you were reading to yourself before you discovered this. Okay? Because you are speaking to the woman that needs this. And please don't take this the wrong way. You're not speaking to the person that's happy for you. Does that make sense? Especially right now. It's a tense time. People need answers. People need to laugh. People need to feel relatable. They do not want to know that you're happy and successful and you work out all the time. They don't care. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Where are we? All right, here's another one. This is what, so if you are into Gary Vaynerchuk, who's like my spirit animal when it comes to posting on social media, this is how I would describe Jab, this first one. So grateful to be home in my bathrobe with an empty house, catching up with my clients that got cut off. And it just put the Monday. And so not a good picture quality, but relatable, quick. And it's not even, I'm not asking anybody to join my team. It's just, it's Monday and here I am. And I'm telling you, the girl that's before she started this, if I was scrolling social media in between clients and didn't see my children in the morning, this is something that I would want to see. This next one, it's not a good quality picture. It was actually a video of me working out in a hotel room. Bartlett and I decided to stay an extra night in Charlotte to do some Christmas shopping together and have some mommy-daughter time. This is huge for me and almost fell into let my old life talk me out of it with the story of about work and how you can't afford that. Then I snapped back to my life I created where I can do things like this when I choose to. I work whenever I want and I want and I can afford it. And see, this one I would tell Jolie, you're talking too much about yourself, but I'm going to keep going. So yes, I'm doing 30-minute workouts in my hotel, but they mean so much more when my daughter tells me she wants to be strong like me when she grows up. I'm off to hit South Park Mall on a Monday because I can. If you desire a life where you can make choices and create the life you want, DM me. I'm looking for some strong women to join my team. So if I were to rework this post, I would start by saying something about I'm teaching my daughter to be strong like me, or something of like flipping it. So it's less about me and more about putting myself where I was before. Or maybe started saying like, it's Monday and I normally wouldn't see my daughter. However, today I'm taking her Christmas shopping and decided to play hooky from school. You know, something like that. All right, I'm gonna move on. Here's another Monday one. Mondays look a whole lot different. By the way, do not use all these emoji cons. This is old school way of doing it. When I was dashing at the door at 5 a.m. and running all over town to personal train, teach yoga, and now I set the tone for the workout with the hubby, help the kids, ready to school, journal, read, meditate, shower, ready to set my clients up for success from a full cup now. Create balance in your life. It's the secret sauce to whatever goals you have. Next group starts on next month or the end of the month. So I'm talking about joining my group, but I'm obviously like punching them in the face about the coaching opportunity. Probably went a little overboard, but again, this is October 23rd, 2017, and I'm getting my feet wet with all this. I then went through a series of, this is kind of old school, where I was doing post Why I Coach series every, think Thursday maybe, but I just picked a day of the week and I picked a picture from my life and I said why I coach. And these are definitely, it's like a right hook here. And this is just talking about, this is a pain point for me. I can't read it because I will start to cry. But it's just, talking about how I'm doing this, why I'm doing this, and how it's changed everything because, my husband has heart disease. So as he's in the background going, woohoo. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward to some more recent ones. And so you can see this is a progression. Like, it is definitely something that just you learn along the way, just like you learn nutrition, like you learn this business, like you learn talking to people, like how you learn overcoming objections, everything. And I can honestly tell you that this came from so many people telling me or asking me or saying that their husband would never support them on this. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but it was basically saying that he didn't support me, and that was my first why. And like, I wanted to wipe that grin off of his face, that smirk off of his face. And then I tied it back like, we're good, The next one, and this is this is what I believe that every person on this team will be able to do a right hook like this. And before I show it, when I saw Moira post her first, like, holy crap income post, I was like, that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that for my family. I'm going to do that for my kids. And I'm going to do this for other women. And I'm going to do this for the team that's not even here yet so they can see what's possible. And I mean, it gives me goosebumps to see that because it's so not where I was forever. And when I post, I really try to be very clear with my voice. I consider myself funny. I consider myself pretty snarky. And I also consider myself telling it like it is. And so let me read this out to you. Hi, I'm Jolie, and posting this freaks me out. Here's the reality. I saw a post like this 3.5 years ago. This post opened the doors to so many things. Yes, I grew a crazy income in 3.5 short years, but let me be abundantly clear. Her post gave me freedom. Since then, I have treated my family to so many memories that were purchased from me getting over my fear of judgment, fear of failure, or fear of failing, fear of not knowing what I was doing. Summer just around the corner, a time of year that always gave me anxiety because of taking off work, camp expenses, vacations, you name it. Now I choose when I take off and actually still get paid. Unlike when I taught yoga, and there is zero stress about the money. My family and I are planning our summer. We're planning our memories that are purchased from punching fear in the face, growing a virtual coaching biz, and helping my clients get results. Here's the deal, y'all. You do not have to be a fitness professional. And this is where I ask. Now I'm making the ask. Like, I'm trying to like relate to you and how I overcame it. And now I'm asking and showing what's possible. So, all right. So I'm going to stop my share. Let's see. Great job. Wow. Okay.
Can I just interject, even though
Yeah.
I'm not really supposed to be on this call, but I miss everybody. I think exactly how you described yourself is exactly how you come across on social media. And that's so important that, like you said, I'm snarky. I think I'm a little bit funny and I tell it like it is. And I think everybody who watches you on social media, I'm sure Lauren will agree, that's exactly how you come across. Like, you've become so clear in your voice and who you are. And that's why the right people are becoming attracted to you, because you have gone through all of these, I don't know if metamorphosis is the right word, but you've tried these things out, you've done, and now you've like honed in, and it's so clear who Jolie is.
And y'all, it just takes time.
It just takes time. And you've done a beautiful job.
I appreciate that. But I just want y'all to see the progression. And also me, like, looking back, I'm like, oh, that was a little bit too much. Like, and the Emmy goes to Jolie for like having the most amazing life. You know what I mean? And I just try to think back on when I don't know, I don't want to speak to you all, but when I came into Beachbody, I have a very poor opinion of it. I had very low self-esteem, and this snarky girl was very judgmental of other women that were posting their selfies and like talking about their shakes, and like it just was very off-putting to me, and I had no relatability whatsoever with that. And so that is who I'm trying to reach across and pull off the sofa, tell her to put down the wine, tell her to stop living Groundhog Day. And this is, I got you, sister. You know, that's who I'm speaking to. So it's so important to reconnect with the person before this and speak to that person. Yeah. All right, Lauren.
That can happen, yeah. And you guys, it's so much easier to talk to that person in the beginning than it is down the road. Because I scrolled like, took 23 minutes, but I found it. My first one I'll share, and then I'll give you guys some points. And I think, okay, so I had just this, like, I had this selfie. This was also back in the Facebook days. This was in 2017. I can't believe in just 6 short weeks, my whole demeanor has changed. This silly little coaching business has made me so full of joy, peace, confidence that I've never known, blah, blah, blah. So you guys can kind of read it, but what I picked out of this are, I too was moved by the money post, but when you just start, you're like, well, shoot, I can't post that 120K thing. What do I do? And we get that question all the time. And this is so much more relatable to people in the beginning to find, like, I made enough money to cover my own car payment, electric bill, mani-pedi. We live in an expensive area. So like those kind of wins are huge. And I know, like, this is like one of those weird things where I don't know how much, I don't want to be repetitive like New Coach University of just social media planning in general. But since we are talking about the coach opportunity, it's interesting. Like we talked about earlier, my whole business the first year, I don't think I had a single business builder whatsoever. I mean, everyone was just challengers that like kind of did stuff. I built out my spouse, and that was kind of the gist of it. But where the magic happened was like right at the year mark. And like, yes, it showed longevity in the business. And yes, we had a Success Club trip coming up, which is also why we didn't this year, but like super important to get on any kind of live event that you can. But the other the other component to all of that, and I didn't even really realize I was doing this at the time, but I think it was just because I was so excited for the Success Club trip that it happened naturally. And I started talking about coaching on my social media, like 4 hard posts a week. My person? Shoot.
Yeah, you're present. You're better now. You're better now. Is it me or is it her?
Okay. I think it's me, right?
Oh, you're good now. You're good now. Oh, you're not good now.
No. It is me though, isn't it? Let me take you guys on a field trip here. We're gonna go to another room. So I started doing hard posts. Let me just switch my AirPods here. 4 times a week.
Oh.
You realize that you can't say the same thing over and over and over again. You have to find different things to talk about, otherwise it's boring. I'm just gonna move over. We have like multiple workstations going on right now. So really finding the pain points of why people want to do this. And some of them seem obvious. You know, we talk about the travel perks and the money, but like finding those specifics that you saw in Jolie's posts. And when she talks about this was a marketing tip I heard from Forever Go. When she talks about like being nominated for the Emmy with like what a great X, Y, and Z it is. It's a small, like it's very easy to overlook, but one of the worst things you can do is say I repeatedly. And it's not that hard to rework. Like when you're writing out your post, see if you can rework it and use the words you, us, they, them, ours versus I, me. And even like you can be a little bit aggressive because then you're like accusing people of things. So trying to find that switch in your languaging. But the other thing, and I think like, has everybody here just like put a hand up, like kind of written out their avatar? Or does that sound like a foreign language? You can say it sounds like a foreign language because I know some of this is covered in New Coach University. So I think you have to find what, and I don't like to use the word inspire because then you get reliant on only being inspired, but you have to find what things trigger you to pull out stories. So maybe that is, and I'll give you different ways. One is the avatar, which is where you write down every descriptor of yourself. I mean, down to the point of like 5'4", blonde hair, like shops at wherever, like, you know, like those kind of really specific things, which is great. The other questions that I really like, this is from Gretchen Rubin, who's an amazing writer, and I wrote these 3 out. If you're like, okay, well, I like wrote out that I'm like a boy mom and every hashtag possible is about a boy mom. These are 3 good questions to ask yourself when you sit down to write a post. What makes you feel good in life? So what are the activities that are fun, satisfying, energizing? 2 is what makes you feel bad? What are sources of anger, fear, boredom, frustration, anxiety? So that was like Jolie dropping the retainer in the garbage, or like her husband's snarkiness getting to her. 3, is there any way in which you don't feel right about your life? Do you wish you could change your job, your city, your family circumstances, anything of that nature? I don't have Wi-Fi in the bedroom, so I'm not here now. In circumstances, like that was my story. When I came in, I was in a really like toxic marriage, and this whole coaching gig was all about like, how can I get out of that? So finding those pain points, like if that helps you bring up the feels versus I'm a boy mom with a dog and I like fitness or whatever it is, that's a little bit more generic. That's another way to go about it, and how you can bring people in. So I made the list of my avatar. I mean, I kind of use the avatar, but kind of like Jolie in the sense that, you know, she's a little bit snarky, you know, she's a little bit funny, you know, she tells it how it is. That if you can identify those about yourself, that's awesome. When I am specific, it makes inviting, it makes all of this stuff so much easier. I was talking to Erin Hopkins recently, and we were just talking about like how things have changed through the years, whether it's social media trends or inviting trends. And we're like, man, you know, like when we were brand new diamonds, we just sat there in furious sheets of paper everywhere. And we still do that to a degree, for sure. But she goes, you know, I don't like inviting. And I said, who does? And she goes, I think I'm just going to get results instead, because it makes it that much easier when people are following your journey and you get results. Then it's not so like, why is this girl, you know, ask me? And I feel that way about social media. When I am a good storyteller, inviting and all the rest of it is so much easier because you're attracting your people. So like, not that you want to, you know, air your dirty laundry. I mean, there's a couple different ways of saying it. There's a saying that's like, share from a scar, not from a wound. So yes, you want to be vulnerable. And I know that's very catchy right now, but there's also this movement where like people are oversharing and they're getting a not so great response from it because you're putting it out there on a mass platform. So if you're going to put something out there that's vulnerable, I mean, people obviously on the safe side tend to not, but if you are, you always want to have that wrap up in a bow moment. Like if you're going to talk about something that's maybe in that more pain point genre, just like Jolie said at the end of her car post, but we're all good. Like you kind of need that we're all good moment. So people aren't like, does she need a straight jacket? That you need that little like lesson. Like my thing is like, whenever I go through hard stuff, like, okay, I just want to get through it. Not because I can't sit in the pain, but I'm like, I want to know the lesson so that I can then post about it, because you can't just like lament as your journal. Yes. Does that help at all? Questions about either avatar, plan post? So I kind of feeling in a genre, and then I would sit down religiously, and I still do it to this day, Sunday nights, and at the very least, I make a skeleton when I'm like really on my game. I write out a few posts, which does make your life a heck of a lot easier. But looking and calendaring your week is so like Thursdays, a post about paying for the retainer on Thursday. Monday is the sitting in the road post when everybody else is at work. Sunday nights when it's getting the office blues, like going back to work, great time to talk about coaching. Friday and Saturday, not a great time to talk about coaching. Like put up a picture of you and your family doing something for the weekend that's fun, going out on girls' night. But finding and spacing out like at least, I don't know. I mean, I looked like my first coaching post that I shared, I started coaching and I hit diamond quickly. I mean, I hit it. I had the first 10 coaches within a couple weeks done. And then I just needed that last emerald that Jolie was talking about. And so I don't think I really talked about coaching for a couple months, but I wish I had started sooner. And I think you just start with each win. And I mean, I think if that's still challenging for you, you fill in the gaps with the challenge posts.
And I also knowing that every time you post about the coaching opportunity, you don't have to give it all away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it could just be, I mean, it's hard right now because it's, you know, we're all quarantined, but like something that's not giving it all away was like, I went on I couldn't find this one, but I went on a girls trip that was not a coaching girls trip. And I bought a plane ticket and I was like, it's so fun to do that without asking your husband, you know? And so then people followed me while I was in Nashville. Those are jobs. Yes. And so the hook for me usually is on a Sunday, you know, sometimes on a Monday. And that's where I'm asking people to join me. And it's still, this is people, this is social media. This is not days of our lives of your story. You know, it's very like quick stuff. And so you, and not everybody's going to see everything you post. I mean, like, that was a very high return on my investment from that 100 people that liked that first one that I did when I only had 700 friends at that point. But you do need to do it frequently. And so therefore with doing it frequently, do give them less information, but more curiosity. Yeah. Because I mean, when I asked for that, and then y'all put it, and again, this is out of complete love and also brave of y'all to do that, because I was not doing it like I was not doing it like I should be in the beginning. But y'all were like, I got to get it all in. You know what I mean? It was like, it was a novel, you know, and it was a lot to digest. So just think of that. But I'm also I don't like to read a lot. I mean, I like to read a lot.
And I think, yes, I'm glad Jolie said that, because it made me like think of two things. One, she just said, I don't like to read a lot. Speak to your audience. So like, I think of back in the day, like Raina Odell was a really big coach, and she still is, but she would just do one-liners. That's it. Whereas like my audience won't go for that. They won't like novels. I mean, it might be in the right spot is somewhere in between. Not everything should be a novel. But the other really good thing that I try to live by, I don't know if you struggle with writing, but if you're like, oh gosh, where are these like magical words going to come from? I always try to live by create before consume. So if you are writing your post for the day of, like if you get up in the morning, I mean, my like morning routine is that I always keep my phone on airplane mode completely until I've gotten through my morning process anyway. But that it stays on airplane mode way longer if I still have to write a post.
She's breaking up a lot, but I couldn't agree more with that. Like, protect your, I'm going to mute her because she sounds like a robot. I can't mute her because she's frozen. But like, really protect your space before. That's so true. And I do it more now than I do ever. It's pretty funny, actually.
Make her stop.
I can't.
Make her stop. Turn it off.
I can't mute her because she's like frozen or something.
To go down the rabbit hole, like Jolie's post or Jess' post or Moira's post, and being like,
I can't. Oh, she just got kicked off. So that's such a good point. Like, don't go into social media, or don't go. I mean, like right now, like, and listen, this is because I've created the life where I can do this, but now it is like morning process, work out, post in my challenge group. Don't scroll the challenge group, just post it so they know I'm there. Get the kids ready and take the kids for a walk. And that's where I have nothing in my ears to take the kids, take the dog for a walk. And that's where I'm in process time. And I come home, and that truly, I have a framework of what I'm going to be posting throughout the week, like topic wise, but I come in from whatever has come through the process. And then I get cozy on my sofa and write my post, done. And then now I enter into like letting stuff come at me. And listen, it didn't start that way. I don't want y'all to be sitting on the other side of that, because I, for 2 years, was getting up and leaving my house at 4:30 in the morning, teaching my face all over town, personal training all over town, coming in, doing kids. And so it wasn't always like that, but knowing that that was something that I could do sure as heck made me work harder to get there. All right, I'm gonna open up the chat, and then I'm gonna go.
Sorry, I'm having all kinds of Wi-Fi drama apparently, but right now we're good.
Do you guys do the same post or stories each day, like a schedule, like Monday nutrition, Tuesday fitness? So I personally do a rough framework of what I'm doing right now. That is totally out the window because it's just weird, It traditionally, my Monday post is something about like getting back to a Monday, and whether it's with coaching, whether it's just life, whether it's like bad morning with the kids, just something like that. Tuesdays was always transformation post, but I didn't say #transformation Tuesday. Like I don't like to be cliche. Like and it sometimes is wrapped into the coaching opportunity, sometimes wrapped into a challenge group opportunity. Wednesday, I'm always like mixing it up. I always think in my head, Wellness Wednesday. Was trying to do IGTVs, like wellness tips on Wednesdays. Sometimes I do a workout video. Sometimes it's something about food. Something is about mindset. Thursdays, I always geared towards team or something that happened money-wise, because that's when rank advancement day was. Friday was Friday Funny, so I did something funny. Saturday was family, and Sunday was my CTA post, my call to action.
And Lexi, I definitely think you can use those if that helps. Days when you guys are stuck, like those prompts are great. Like Women Crush Wednesday, Man Crush Monday, like that stuff is great to spark if you need it on the spot.
So that,
but just maybe don't say like the cliche part of it, the Woman Crush Wednesday or.
Yeah. And so you just think of yourself, like I wasn't into social media. I wasn't into posting all the time before. I wasn't into so if I were to put it's Transformation Tuesday on my thing, people would be like, what you talking about? Well, it's they don't relate to that with me. Cause I didn't relate to that before. I was like, oh God, she's doing that cliche thing. But maybe you do. So then do that. But I like to have the rough framework, and I use that Rise Up planner where it tells you the thing in case I'm just totally brain dead, and then y'all, it's so awesome to do this for 3.5 years and then find old posts, tweak them, and put them up. And the other thing I want to say is go and do that line spacing thing, that Apps for Life. Do y'all all know that?
Yeah. Okay. And he now made it into an actual app. It's called Spacey or something.
Oh, I don't know that one. Yeah.
He was my web. Yeah.
Google it. Just Google Instagram line spacer. So every time I go type it out, I copy, I paste it into that, copy to clipboard, go back, so that it gives the automatic breaks. Because literally, y'all, if somebody sends me an email or if I see it's like snowblind, yeah, can't do it. I have to it has to be broken up for me.
Yes.
Digestible.
That's another writing tip that people will tell you is that, your social media post shouldn't be this long, but when you're breaking it, people should be able to read the first line of every chunk and get the whole gist of what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And something that Jolie was kind of about earlier, I think I got cut off when I jumped off, but people she said people don't know our stuff. And I was like nervous about like, oh my gosh, am I posting too much about this or posting too much about that? Like, it's very presumptuous that we think that people are just like glued to our social media like it is at Days of Our Lives. Like, people miss stuff all the time. People click off our stories. Like, there's so much stuff that gets missed that you are not overdoing it.
Nope, you're not. All right, let me share the post that I pulled out from that thread. Y'all cool with that? Okay. Okay. All right, so super cute picture with her like rocking her abs. She's smiling. It makes me like interested by it. Why do I love most about being a coach? Oh, this is hard because I don't know in my heart that I was put on this earth to coach. I love being in my athletes, clients, fellow coaches so completely that they have no choice but to believe in themselves. I love coaching because it makes me constantly reach towards a better version of myself so that I can show up authentically, joyfully, and fully. I love coaching because without it, I could never post a picture I did below this post. I have focused on the imperfections, to be honest. I wouldn't even be wearing a bikini. Okay, now this is the part that was like, oh, the birds came out for me. After 3 babies and an abdominal surgery, like this is the part that brings me to tears. After 3 babies and abdominal surgery, things look a little different now. I hid for a long time behind those loose fitting shirts, full body bathing suits, and avoiding swimming. Hang on, this is hiding. Avoiding swimming, but I love the beach. I love swimming. I love feeling good and confident in my skin, and I cannot ask my people to do those things if I'm not willing to do them first. Y'all, what should have gone first?
I love it. I'm so with you.
Put
That
that
should have gone first.
Put that at the top. That, like, you got me, girl. Like, I've had a C-section. I never thought I would get my abs back again. My doctor told me I'd never get them back again. I thought I was going to have to wear maternity shirts for the rest of my life. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Now, and what did that? Coaching. And like, flip it. Like, that's your punch. That's what's making you. And you know what I might even have done with that? I would have had my kids all around me. Like, maybe had their hands on my stomach. Maybe they were wearing bikinis too. Maybe they were in sports bras. Like, that's the kind of stuff that like stirs it, you know? So I want to say that's an amazing post. Just flip it. And do you hear when I read it out loud? The first part? What word did y'all hear the most? I encourage y'all, read your stuff out loud, because that is how it's going to land when somebody else is reading it to themselves. How you sound when you're reading it out loud. And if you're like, yes, I don't know, like if you're putting yourself up too much, you know, but the whole like gut stuff like that, like, now you got me, girl, you know? Does that help any of y'all with y'all's stuff, y'all's post? Yeah. Love the feedback. Yeah.
Do you guys have any specific questions or questions in general? Because if not, what we do is kind of whoever, like, first come, first serve. I know we didn't really talk about this, but like, we can do one more, or if Jolie saw another one in that thread, or we can just say whoever pops up there, whoever's got their post ready to go first, that's coaching, we can take a look at.
That's the only one I happen to pull in.
I mean, I know we can't get through like 20. I know we can't get through like 20 of them. We could probably take like 1 or 2.
I'm going to the thread right now on my phone.
Okay.
I'll just, while you're looking through the thread, I will just add really quickly to that idea of a nanosecond is what we have to draw somebody in. And that depends on your picture, and that depends on your first sentence.
I could not agree more, Jess. Thank you for
Right.
saying that. Yeah.
And I got that from Social Team Builder when we did that training. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't have a picture that is clear and captivating and is scroll stopping, nobody's stopping. If you don't have a first/second sentence that is exactly like Julie was just saying, nobody's stopping. If you say Tuesday transformation, everyone's like,
It's noise. It's white noise.
it sounds like everybody else, right? If you start with somebody's story about she was stuck in postpartum depression, trying to do workouts on YouTube and blah, you know what I mean? Like, if you put that up with a transformation picture instead of Transformation Tuesday, and then a paragraph later you tell the story, right? Like, you want to, so I try to do with my coaches. I know, and I'm annoying to my coaches because they post that I'm like, hey, take your fourth sentence and put it as your top sentence, but look at what you think you're going to write and then read it to yourself. Have somebody else look at it. What's the catcher? Where's the real like crux of the story? Because that's all you've got is that first or second sentence and your picture, and you're done.
100%.
Y'all, you are your storefront. Okay. People are not coming, they're coming to you because they trust you. They're coming to you. You're their coach. You're partnering with Beachbody to help them specifically with their goals. And so really think about that when you're posting pictures. This one was Nicole Cannon Williams was Insta handle. Thank you. Thankful for each morning getting easier and easier as we find our new normal with school from home. Today was certainly better than the last. So thankful I have this coaching business. I get to encourage others in these uncertain times. This job gives me so much satisfaction and gives me a reason to keep myself accountable each and every day. Keeping my nutrition and workouts dialed in have helped my stress and anxiety so much. Who knew I would be who knew where I would be during all of this? Probably in the bottom of a bag of Doritos. And it's a picture of her laptop and her shaker cup and a calendar. So first off, my first thought was picture with laptop in you, maybe kids homeschooling, you know? And then bag of Doritos is very relatable. Like, I found myself almost reaching for the bag of Doritos or something, you know?
Yeah,
like
I think the Doritos should have been first. People love to read about Doritos.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with the picture side of it, you know, in the world of, and once again, this is repetitive, but we go over this a lot in our team because it's like everyone's so mesmerized by the filters and the yada yada. Like, two things: good lighting, clear camera. Like, that's it. Just sit in front of a window and make sure you're not smudged. And it's all that matters. And I always love to give this example. Like, the reason selfies are so powerful is because it's someone's face in your face. So I remember, like, it was like a year ago or so, I don't know, it was a while ago, Moira went on some like fancy schmancy trip with Brian where they had this like all celebs athletic training in Malibu. And they were in a group picture with Gabby Reese and Laird Hamilton and like 10 Uber celebrities. And she got no traction on it because it was a group photo. People don't stop to look at group photos. Like, I try, if I can, to really not do more than 3 people. So if it's like you and your kids, like, have them scooped up somehow close to you faces, or not too much stuff going on.
I agree. The group photos now are more for my team.
Yeah. And I have to like balance it every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I couldn't agree more. It is your storefront. It is your story. It is and then you're balancing it with not I, you know? Listen, the way you learn how to do this, the way you get better at this is you fail a whole truck ton of times, you know? Yeah. Daniel asked. Yeah.
And if you're like seeing different, like, I know there's like trends going on, it's even on my page. Like, if you see people that do different designs with the quote or the every fourth square is purple or all that kind of stuff, like, that's fine, but it should be because it's like related to you. Like, don't just do the quote because the quote is a thing. Like for me, like I could spend hours on memes and writings on the Explore page, but if like it's just a stock inspirational quote, then I would probably not have that be your format.
I mean, I look at my 9 and I've got my husband in there. I mean, that you would have thought this would have gotten so much traction with, it did on Facebook, but not on Instagram with Brown and my daughter. It didn't as much as I thought it would. Yeah. What else, guys? Why do people put 2 almost identical pictures next to one another just to make people stop? I don't know that.
I don't know.
Know that. Yeah. You can do
Like,
quotes.
I don't mean this in a bad way, but it blows my mind that Kelsey Hill's social media gets as much traction as it does because her posts are all, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's like because she's the same picture. She also has a really, really intense social media follow-up situation. So don't compare yourself to her account. Like she's
Very
on it.
similar pictures though.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I looked at it too and I was like, huh, interesting.
So-
The question, so no quotes. Yeah, I do quotes.
I think
I just don't
sometimes
overdo them.
people hide behind quotes.
Yeah, I don't overdo them. And my rhythm was always do one on Friday, and like, it's time. Like I gotta find a good, people would come directly to my page. They told me that because you can't see it. Of just snarky stuff, I'd say. Like the laundry on the dining room table. Yeah, this Corona thing has got me all kind of I'm doing it more on the fly, you know? But the other thing I want to say is, and Lauren, let me know, and Jess, you correct me, but right for now, it is 1 hard post a day. Do y'all agree? 12-ish stories a day. Yeah. Your social media is your storefront. And if you're not consistent like that, and then when you go to invite, it's going to be like walking through quicksand.
Yeah, because you may see like conflicting information. I mean, you'll hear like, oh, well, I hear the algorithm says 5 posts a day or every other, like all that stuff. And that's great, but you then have to invite. So you're going to need to go back to, like, you now have 7 posts to invite from instead of 4 to 5 or 3 to 5. And my bare minimum, like for stories, like I always say, like, if the world was ending, bare minimum. The world was ending, bare minimum, SE10, and 5 stories a day. Because Carl calls it you need something fitness, food, like product, you know, like your shake or whatever that nature. I should know this.
It tells you, like literally tells you.
Yeah, it does. Okay,
It's on the bat.
it
It's
tells you.
okay. You
Yeah.
can read it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good.
It literally tells
Okay, I'm
you.
not overthinking it. Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm when I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm like, oh, check. You know, I go do.
That's what I do. I look and I'm like, what did I miss? 8 to 12. What did I miss? And it's always food. God damn it. I got to put the food up there.
I know, same.
I know.
What else?
And I think when the hard post, it used to be 3 to 4 times a day. And some people still see those trainings and they do it, but that competes with yourself. So if you're like posting and then 2 hours later posting and 2 hours later posting again, you're just kind of knocking yourself out of visibility.
Pamela asked,
Yeah.
I do, except for maybe Saturdays, because I'm very bad about working on Saturdays, like catching the people from that. But in a very general way, yes. Lauren, yes, you do?
Yeah.
Me too.
I mean, when I'm on good behavior, yes.
Yeah, when I'm on good behavior too.
I mean, I shoot for it. I shoot for it every day. Yeah.
Mhm.
Not, it doesn't have to be in your hard post every day, but stories. yeah.
No, I think it would turn my people off if I did call to actions every day in my hard post. Yeah.
Does this make you guys feel like that? We also don't want you to like leave and be like, oh God, scrap it all. Like, please know that like ours are, I mean, I can't tell you how many like times you say to coaches, go back and scroll to ours in the beginning and they're terrible. And I've had coaches that are like, yeah, you're right. So like, know that this is the beauty of if this is the first few months for you, and even if you've been like in and out of the game and now you're like really in the game, like that applies to you too, because your warm market gives you so much grace to fail forward. Like they love you anyway. They're here for whatever needs to happen. And then by the time you like get better and better and more comfortable and maybe quicker and this and that, then now you're starting to get into cold market.
I do have one more thing to say. Maybe when you're posting about the coach, don't wear your coach shirt.
Oh, I have one of those. I have one like in my diamond shirt. It was like, I'm a diamond coach now.
I mean, just so it's not no white noise, you know?
Yeah. Don't do that. That was like, yes. But you can do that and still be a successful coach 3 years later if you mess
I was
up.
gonna say, if you have done that, it's okay. Like I literally did a post where I did Shaun T screaming in the screen and then me dying from his workout. And then I think I hashtagged every Beachbody thing under the sun. And I did not drop my diamond because I did that. So you're going to make tragic mistakes. Like I should have gone through my social media and like, I built a elite team off of janky social media, guys. But I was freaking consistent as a mother. And back when I started, it was 3 to 5 hard posts a day. A girl that did not post on social media. So I got laser focused on that why. I treated it like a job. I bossed up and I got an accountability partner and we post 3 to 5 times a day. And I invited like crazy. And so that it all builds on itself. If you kind of sort of do the business, you get kind of sort of results. Just like nutrition, just like the programs. I promise.
And then you'll find yourself needing to carb cycle 3 years later to get your mind right. Don't let it get that far. Just stay on foundational.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to stop recording.